Finder, which Antonio mentioned, is written, it's a book called Now Discover Your Strengths, and it was written by a guy named Marcus Buckingham. And Kay might want to talk about branding about that book, because I gave her the book and she couldn't get past how horribly the front of it was branded. It wasn't a real nice branding of it, but that's a whole nother story. But the Strengths Finder by Buckingham, you can write that down. You can go onto online and buy this assessment, or you can go buy the book at Barnes & Noble, and it'll talk about what your signature strengths are. How is that important? Your strengths are things you need to know, and your strengths, when they're overused, become weaknesses. So it helps you understand how the world sees you again. So understanding who you are is where you start. The other thing you can do, and I do with my clients, is to perform a SWOT analysis. Anybody learn that in business school? Yeah, strengths, weakness, opportunity, threats, but do it on you. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the opportunities and threats for your success? And if you're not sure, ask some people you know. I recently went through a rebranding process, and I reached out to about 30 people who knew me in a lot of different lights and asked them to answer that question, to make sure that what I thought were my strengths were what the rest of the world thought. But it's all about yourself and knowing who you are, and here I am standing right in front of it. Let's go to the next slide. Next step is figuring out your current reality. What's working, what's not working. When I start working with a client, that's the first thing we talk about. In your professional and your personal life, what's working and what's not working. And then we talk a little bit about what will you need to stop, what will you need to start, and what will you need to continue to move forward. But really stop for a second and think about your current job, your current situation, and be honest with yourself. There's a lot of parts of it that you probably really love, and there's a lot of parts that you really don't love. Get it down on paper, out of your head, so you can assess what your current reality is. Next, what's your vision? This is actually the first step. I got these out of order. When I work with a client, I want to start with who they are at the very core, what their core values are, what's important to them. Is it development? Is it making a lot of money? Is it training? Is it teaching? Is it learning? Is it growing? What is it? Learning what's the most important to you so you can develop your life's vision. Not your mission, not your objective, your vision, which is the guiding principle that helps you through your life. I'm giving you this stuff really fast and furious, but this is all part of developing a plan, a personal plan on moving forward. Let's go to the next one. Resources. If you want to move forward in your career, or if you want to move forward in your life, you're not going to be able to do it alone. You're going to need to reach out to people. And there's really two kinds of people, if you're a business professional, that you're going to need. One is called a referral partner, and that's the person who's going to bring people to you who are going to give you money or buy your service or your product. And the second kind of resource you're going to need are strategic partners. And those are the people who you can collaborate with. And I'm going to give you an example of a collaboration that I couldn't believe would ever happen. And that was when I met Kay Douglas. She said, this is years ago, this is going back probably 6-7 years ago. She said, how can we work together? And I thought, well, we can't. You do one thing and I do another. How could we possibly ever work together? And then through the years, as we got to know one another, some things emerged, our strengths kind of collided, and we realized we could collaborate. We could sit on a panel together and talk to people about issues that were related. I could hire her to do my branding. She could hire me to coach her people. But I didn't get that at first because I wasn't looking at it through the eyes of collaboration. I wasn't looking at it through the eyes of creating a strategic partnership. As you grow in your career, when you meet somebody, ask yourself, is this somebody who will refer me to somebody, or is this somebody I can collaborate with? It's going to be one or the other. Again, the resources you need to take you to the next place are not just inside your head. So how do you develop these people? It loops right back around. Don't go yet because this is going to go on to my partner's thing. It really loops back to where we started. You develop this by letting people into your world and letting them know who you are, but more importantly, finding out about them. Finding out how they're wired and finding out what makes them tick. And then what will emerge are the partnerships and the strategic alliances.